Block 1. KAWS UNIQLO collaboration. It's official, and it's a seismic shift in the worlds of art and fashion. Brian Donnelly, the artist universally known as KAWS, has just been named the first ever artist in residence for UNIQLO. Let's be clear, this isn't just another limited edition t-shirt drop. This isn't a fleeting, seasonal collaboration. This is an unprecedented, deep-seated integration of one of the most significant contemporary artists of our time into the very corporate DNA of a global retail behemoth. To understand the magnitude of this announcement, we have to understand the journey of KAWS himself. He began not in pristine, white-walled galleries, but on the gritty streets of 1990s Jersey City and New York. He was a graffiti writer, a tagger, but with a twist. His signature mark wasn't just a name, it was an icon. The skull and crossbones with soft, rounded edges and X'd-out eyes became his calling card. He wasn't just writing on walls, he was intervening in the visual language of the city. He famously pried open bus shelter and phone booth advertising displays, stole the posters, took them back to his studio, and painted his characters directly onto them. He'd then sneak them back into place, seamlessly blending his subversive art with high fashion ads for brands like Calvin Klein and Guess. It was a brilliant act of cultural jamming, a commentary on consumerism that was simultaneously critical and deeply aspirational. This unique style quickly caught the eye of the burgeoning subculture scene, particularly in Japan. His work resonated with the streetwear culture that was exploding in Tokyo, leading to early collaborations with brands like Bounty Hunter and A Bathing Ape. This is where his art began its leap from 2D surfaces into the 3D world. The now iconic companion figure, a melancholic Mickey Mouse-esque character with the signature X'd-out eyes, was born as a limited edition vinyl toy. This was a pivotal moment. KAWS understood earlier than almost anyone the power of the collectible object as a vessel for art. He was creating scarcity and desire outside the traditional art market, building a devoted global following one toy at a time. From there, his ascent was nothing short of meteoric. The vinyl toys grew into monumental public sculptures, towering over cityscapes from Hong Kong to London. His paintings, which blended pop art sensibilities with a sophisticated, abstract aesthetic, began fetching millions at auction houses like Sotheby's and Christie's. He had successfully navigated the treacherous path from street artist to a blue-chip, institutionally recognized fine artist with major solo exhibitions at prestigious museums. This brings us to UNIQLO. Their relationship isn't new. For years, the KAWS x UNIQLO UT collections have been the stuff of retail legend. These weren't just t-shirt releases, they were global events. Massive crowds swarming UNIQLO stores, shelves stripped bare within minutes, websites crashing from the sheer volume of traffic, this was the norm. The collaborations, often featuring his interpretations of beloved characters like Snoopy from Peanuts or the cast of Sesame Street, were a masterclass in making his art accessible to the masses. For $10 or $20, anyone could own a piece of the KAWS universe. But even those wildly successful drops were just that, drops. They were products. An artist-in-residence role is something entirely different. It implies a long-term commitment, a creative dialogue, and a level of influence that goes far beyond a graphic on a t-shirt. It suggests that KAWS will have a seat at the table, a voice in the creative direction of a company that operates thousands of stores in dozens of countries and generates tens of billions in revenue. For UNIQLO, this is a strategic masterstroke. The company has long built its brand on the philosophy of lifewear, simple simple, high-quality, functional clothing for everyone. By embedding an artist like KAWS into their core, they are elevating that philosophy. They are making a bold statement that art is not a luxury, but an essential part of everyday life, as fundamental as a well-made pair of jeans. It infuses their brand with an unparalleled level of cultural cool and artistic credibility, moving them beyond the category of fast fashion into the realm of a cultural institution. For KAWS, the move is equally strategic. He has already conquered the street, the gallery, and the auction house. What frontier is left? Global, mass-market retail. This residency gives him a platform of unimaginable scale to further cement his legacy, not just as an artist for collectors, but as a truly global popular artist in the vein of Andy Warhol or Keith Haring. It's a move that ensures his iconic excise will be seen and recognized by hundreds of millions more people, becoming as ubiquitous and universally understood as the Nike swoosh or the Apple logo. This isn't just a collaboration, it's a coronation. Block 2. Art Market Evolution. The appointment of KAWS as UNIQLO's artist-in-residence isn't just a big deal for him and the brand, it's a landmark event that sends shockwaves through the entire contemporary art ecosystem. It forces us to confront fundamental questions about the value of art, the role of the artist, and the once sacred, now porous border between culture and commerce. For decades, the art world operated on a fairly clear, if unwritten, set of rules. There was high art, which lived in museums and galleries, was written about by critics, and sold for exorbitant prices to a select group of wealthy collectors. And then there was low art, or commercial art, illustration, design, and anything intended for mass consumption. The two were meant to be separate. An artist who leaned too heavily into commercial work risked being labeled a sellout, their critical reputation tarnished, and the perceived value of their serious work diminished. But KAWS, along with a generation of artists who grew up on street art, skateboarding, and hip-hop, has systematically dismantled that old paradigm. His entire career has been a testament to the idea that art can exist simultaneously in a museum and on a t-shirt, on a 40-foot bronze statue and a 5-inch vinyl toy, without one invalidating the other. This UNIQLO residency is the ultimate stress test of that idea. It represents the most profound blurring of these lines we have ever seen. Think about it. An artist whose paintings sell for over $14 million is now in a formal, long-term creative partnership with a company that sells t-shirts for $20. The implications are staggering. On one hand, this is the ultimate democratization of art. It's the fulfillment of the promise made by pop artists like Andy Warhol, who famously said, "You can be watching TV and see a Coca-Cola, and you know that the president drinks Coke, Liz Taylor drinks Coke, and just think, you can drink Coke too." KAWS's art is now that of Coca-Cola. Through UNIQLO, his creative vision becomes accessible to anyone with a few dollars to spare, regardless of their socioeconomic status or geographic location. It takes art out of the intimidating, often exclusionary environment of the gallery and places it directly into people's lives, onto their bodies. It argues that a meaningful connection with art doesn't require a deep knowledge of art history or a massive bank account. It can be as simple as loving a design on a shirt you wear every day. This move champions the idea that cultural relevance is not determined by auction prices, but by genuine, widespread public engagement. However, there is another, more critical perspective that cannot be ignored. This is the argument of over-commercialization. Does this level of mass market saturation risk diluting the power and mystique of KAWS's work? When an artist's signature motifs are as common as a fast food logo, do they lose their artistic integrity and become mere branding? This is a legitimate concern for the high-end art market, which is built on the principles of scarcity, exclusivity, and aura. A collector who spends 7 figures on a KAWS painting does so, in part, because they are buying a unique object, a piece of the artist's singular genius. How does that collector feel when they see a nearly identical image on a tote bag at their local mall? Does it devalue their investment, not just financially, but culturally? This residency forces a recalibration of what value even means in the art world. Is value determined by the gatekeepers, the critics, curators, and auction houses? Or is it determined by popular appeal and cultural ubiquity? KAWS is betting his legacy on the latter. He is challenging the very notion of artistic purity, suggesting that an artist can be both a critically acclaimed market darling and a populist icon. This is a delicate balancing act. He has managed it successfully so far, but this residency pushes the experiment into uncharted territory. It's a move that will undoubtedly be watched closely by every major artist, gallery, and luxury brand in the world. It's a reflection of a broader cultural shift where the lines between creator, influencer, and brand are becoming increasingly indistinguishable. Street art, once the ultimate form of anti-establishment expression, has now been fully embraced by the corporate establishment, and KAWS is the artist who is not just sitting at the head of the boardroom table, he's helping to design it. Future of art and brands. So what does an artist in residence at a global fashion corporation actually do? The answer is what makes this partnership so fascinating and potentially revolutionary. It's about so much more than just slapping a KAWS design on the spring-summer collection. This residency model suggests a future where the artist's role transcends that of a mere decorator and evolves into that of a creative visionary and cultural strategist. Let's speculate on what this could look like. The most obvious extension is beyond graphic tees. We could see KAWS's influence on entire collections, not just the graphics, but the color palettes, the silhouettes, the very fabric of the clothes. Imagine a line of Uniqlo outerwear with subtle KAWS details, like his XX signature embroidered on a cuff, or the unique textures from his paintings translated into knitwear patterns. But why stop at clothing? The residency could extend to the entire Uniqlo customer experience. KAWS could be tasked with redesigning Uniqlo's retail spaces. Think about flagship stores in Tokyo, New York, and Paris becoming immersive art installations, transforming the act of shopping into a cultural experience. The minimalistic aesthetic of Uniqlo could be punctuated by the bold, emotional forms of KAWS's sculptures. The packaging, the shopping bags, the gift boxes could become collectible art objects in their own right, further embedding his aesthetic into every touchpoint of the brand. The potential in the digital realm is even more vast. Could KAWS develop a series of digital art or NFTs exclusively for Uniqlo customers? An augmented reality app that allows you to place virtual KAWS sculptures in your own home, or even influence the design and user experience of Uniqlo's website and mobile app, infusing it with a sense of playfulness and artistic discovery. This is where the true potential of the residency lies, in a holistic 360-degree integration of an artistic worldview into a corporate entity. This partnership is poised to become the new gold standard, a case study that will be taught in business and art schools for years to come. It signals a major evolution in the concept of corporate art patronage. The old model was passive. A corporation would buy a painting to hang in their lobby or sponsor a museum exhibition. It was about associating their brand with the prestige of high art. This new model is active and collaborative. It's not about buying art, it's about co-creating culture. We could be on the cusp of a new era where this becomes the norm. Imagine Daniel Arsham as an artist in residence for Porsche, influencing car design and showroom experiences. Or Refik Anadol partnering with a tech giant like Google to create data-driven art that is integrated into their software interfaces. The KAWS and Uniqlo model opens the door for artists to become powerful creative directors and brand shapers on a global scale, providing them with resources and a platform far beyond what the traditional gallery system can offer. For KAWS's legacy, this is the final, definitive chapter. It solidifies his position not just as an important artist, but as a towering cultural figure who fundamentally changed the way art is produced, consumed, and valued in the 21st century. He will be remembered as the artist who broke down the last remaining wall between the gallery and the global marketplace, proving that artistic integrity and mass accessibility are not mutually exclusive concepts. For Uniqlo, it's a long-term investment in their brand's soul. They are no longer just selling clothes. They are selling a connection to one of the most vital creative forces of our time. This partnership redefines what it means to be a modern brand, suggesting that in an increasingly crowded marketplace, the deepest and most enduring connection you can build with a consumer is a cultural one. The lines have not just been blurred, they have been completely erased. And in the space that's left, KAWS and Uniqlo are building something entirely new.